Okay, check, check. We are live. Let's go ahead and see what we can do today. So start this off. Right there. Okay. It's almost it's a really good balance on it. Could use a little bit of weight. There's that heavy point. Okay. So I almost wonder if it has anything to do with the position. I wonder if I can correct that right now. So the whole thing with this, maybe I made a mistake. It's there, and there's the red dot, and I'm noticing the yellow dot's like right up there. Okay, so it kind of likes that position. No movement there. Okay. Okay, let's see where it lands. Hmm. So does it go to the same position? Gravity balance could take a couple minutes. Where it stops. It looks like it's kind of going to the same position, kind of like right here. Not too much. Let's see. I don't know how much weight. Probably like 4 stickies. So it's about 7, so about 28 grams, 1 ounce. I think I need a new box cutter. Okay. Let's see what 4 weights does. So that's the heaviest point right there. You go something like I make that stick. Okay. So let's see if it changes. essentially good balance, should be able to put it in any position and the tire shouldn't move. Yeah, I'm gonna say that's pretty spot on right there. So this tire right here is got it pretty good the first time. Just depending on like how fast it rotates over, and you just basically go 180 degrees off of it. Not perpendicular, you don't go 90 degrees. You want to go. So my lowest point was like right here. Essentially, we put the weight right here, choosing the correct weight. Kind of no matter where I position the tire, it doesn't rotate. If I remove the weights, it's probably going to rotate back to the same position. And I think my wife was using the paint marker that I use for marking tires. Okay, not an issue. Just have to get another one. But it's gonna go like right here. Here, I'll put some white. Get a little bit of. Oh, look at that! Didn't see that one hiding in there. Well, we'll just leave it. Maybe it's helping. Thought I removed all of them, but not a big deal. All right, cool. Okay, Tits McGee. So rear tire is balanced, pretty simple, and kind of helps by, so there's once again these dots here. There's like a red one and a yellow one. I line it up with the yellow one, and it all depends on the manufacturer. It's hit or miss, depends on the rim. There's a bunch of factors, but what I've noticed, even with using like an electronic balancer, it all depends. I mean, sometimes there's two marks on it, sometimes there's just one. When there's just one, it's obvious, more obvious to go off of that one. But I've noticed on certain brands of tires with certain rims, you can go ahead and line up the mark and it still won't balance perfectly. You'll still have to add weight to the rim to kind of balance it out. Sometimes on a really well manufactured rim with a well manufactured tire like a Pirelli, what I've noticed is if you line up that dot, like on some of those higher end, rims, they balance out perfectly where there is no wheel weight needed if the technician takes his time with putting on the tire. So this one's good. go ahead and leave that. I got to do the front tire still. But in the meantime, so in one of the first videos that I did when we were working on this bike, we got a nice DID VX3 O-ring chain. But the only dilemma that I was having is it only came with a clip-on style master link, and I don't really like to put clip-on style. I prefer a rivet type or a rivet link style instead for street use. And so I ended up putting like one on temporarily, and it looked to be the same brand, same length and everything, but I don't like the way it fit. So I went ahead and actually ordered a replacement one here. And this is actually a VX3 Gold, so it won't have the off-color link. Should blend in perfectly well. Comes with new O-rings. Looks like fresh packaging. So should be a better option there. And we already have the new front sprocket. Obviously, have the chain, and we're going to go ahead and we have the rear sprocket. This has all been greased and lubed. We have our rubber dampeners inside. Okay. And then let's see here. We have some spacers. So typically what I'll do, grab a little bit of grease. Sweet. Okay, hopefully that doesn't fall out. And go on this side. All right, cool. Nice and brand new. Axle already has some grease on it. Fuck it, it's been sitting outside the atmosphere a couple days. Let's go ahead and just wipe it down. Let's put a, even though I don't think it really matters, I think there's like, I don't think it's bent. But I noticed it could be. It's kind of like a bitch to get in and out. Probably had a little bit of corrosion on there. Like corrosion, probably a little bit of corrosion and pitting on the bearings. Maybe on the spacer. Maybe it's the inside of the spacer that has like a lot of rust in it. Okay. And we're not putting a high amount of grease, and we kind of stop about an inch from the ends. That's where it's going to be sitting inside the swing arm or chain adjusters. Okay. So hopefully this goes in the way it should. Brake should be good to go. All right, see what happens. Oh, I gotta raise this bike. Might have to raise the bike a little bit. Okay, let's see how we look here. I believe we're going that way. Oh, I knew what's gonna happen. The seals are just a little worn out, so they don't really hold in the best. And sometimes even having a over torqued swing arm will typically sometimes when the swing arms have been over torqued, which is very common on these bikes, it kind of makes it a little harder to get the parts in there because the swing arm takes a set. And I think this steel. So yeah, usually steel. I mean, it's more durable. Just gotta torque everything to spec. Same thing with aluminum, anything. But typically that's the case. And then with these blown out seals here, a little loosey goosey, a little bit extra grease to kind of hopefully hold it in during the assembly process. Throw on a head loop. Okay, so see what's going on. Try to get this O-ring chain dialed in. Oh, where's the lube at? Okay. So what are we gonna need? We're gonna need oh no, it's missing. So right here in front of me. So that. There we go. I like the way that looks. Okay. Another thing. About 200 thousandths. 200. It's a different measuring point. I got like 205 to a 6 versus it's like 200. 200. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so now put on these other two O-rings. Let's put a little bit of dab of grease. About, is that 665, give or take? Like 660, 665. All right, copy. Should be this now. Hmm. Close enough, within about 10 thousandths. Should we go a little bit more? I think it's fine. Is that about 210? Two, three, four more thousandths if possible. Okay. So about 13 thousandths. Let's see. About 211, 213. Probably go just a little bit more if possible on that lower link by just like 2 to 3 thousandths is what I was trying to get out of it. There we go. So now we're about 215, 216. So that's right there is where we stop. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, they're all off by like a couple thousandths. So yeah, give or take, it's within 10 thousandths. You can clearly see where the link sits. There's that. It's right here. So, I mean, you're not seeing that less than 10,000. It's like 9 thousandths. You're not seeing that with the naked eye almost. But it's right where it needs to be, and basically you're not squishing those O-rings, and it also provides enough surface area to get a good rivet. And then of course we are, oh whoops, wrong one I'm pointing to. It's that one right there. Yeah, so you can see the rivets basically on the side. You want to make sure that they're crimped. Also, the link's pressed in enough, and then it also has enough crimping force. And then under normal conditions, under normal conditions, this link isn't going to pop off there. If the shaft's about 200 thousandths, 202 thousandths, and we just basically swaged it to about, on average 215 thousandths, it would require 13 thousandths of interference fit to overcome that rivet. So it's not going to happen unless it's physically ground down or physically damaged in some way. So that's how you're supposed to do a chain right there. And then the next follow up too, you kind of double check it, put it in an area where you can kind of manipulate it and just make sure that the link rotates smoothly, doesn't like bind. Like if you look at the other links, like they don't bind, they just kind of barely hold their position just a little bit. They're not super loose, but they're not too tight. Same thing with your master link. Might be just a little tight, but once obviously the chain breaks in, it's going to be good. But that's the whole thing with like tying it down. You don't want to over tighten it. That's why we kind of measure it to see exactly where we're at. Most of the time, though, you can usually eyeball it though, but I like to measure just to kind of know where I'm at. So chain is good. Sweet. Now it's a fucking race bike. Heck yeah. All right, cool. So now that that's been knocked out, bike has been professionally worked on. Let's see, extra. I think my headphone batteries are about to die. I might have to do a change here. But once we get this rear tire put on, we're going to go ahead and flip it on over. Basically, I'm going to take the bike off the lift and rotate the rear section of the bike into the chuck, and then I can go ahead and maybe work on the front end a little bit better. But more specifically, we're going to replace that front tire and rebuild the front forks. But dang, look at that. Brand new chain and sprockets definitely makes a bike look nice with the new tire. I mean, you really can't beat that. Let's see, make sure the tire direction is correct. Got our arrow pointing counterclockwise. Bitchin'. Feels good. And we do need to bleed the brakes here. That is also one of the other services that we're going to be doing. See how far we can get right now. Okay, actually, we're going to need this little piece of tape here for when it comes time to doing those front wheels. But all the freaking products. Okay, cool. So that's good. We'll go ahead and leave that. It's kind of out of the way for a moment. All right. Let's see what else we're gonna have to do. Need this hammer. I feel like I just got too much stuff on right now. I've been working on so many different projects. But this is a cool thing too. Now that I have the bike back down, I have some new exhaust gaskets that we can go ahead and throw on the bike. It's supposed to be some new exhaust gaskets. Let's packs in here. Aha. Perfect. Nice and unused. All right, cool. Very nice. So definitely going to put those on. I got to drill some holes to make these switches work. I think I was going to leave the handlebars in that position. And let's see, we may be able to get a wrench underneath there to loosen the cap up without changing the handlebar position, but maybe I might put them up just a little bit. I'm not sure. This does look like what? It looks like it has some handlebars that have been put upside down and backwards is what it looks like what's going on here. I think that's what's going on here. Yeah, these handlebars are basically upside down and backwards. And I guess that works on the Kawasaki. And I can't even tell you, these look like cruiser custom Harley handlebars of some sort. Somebody may have made these, I don't know, or took another bar and modified it, put some miter cuts in it, and then welded it. These look pretty good for DIY though. Okay, what else got? Yeah, I gotta do the same thing. Let's see. Yeah, they didn't even. I'm surprised. Usually, most people like just grind it off, but we at least have the little protruding nub there, or locating pin. So when we go ahead and basically eyeball the switch, see where it's gonna sit, mark it, and then instead of having that gap there and this like kind of sliding around, we'll basically drill a hole right here. So we're gonna go ahead and, I mean, maybe I might finish the service first, get the gas tank back on. That way I can go ahead and double check clearance really quick. Maybe it'll be the last thing. Double check clearance, make sure the handlebars don't hit, just in case I need to make an adjustment. Then I can go ahead and like put an indicating mark here on the bars to basically line it up so it's always like in the same position once I know where I like it. And then I can figure out something using like dye or ink to kind of like, dike them, or sometimes I just use my enamel pens, work pretty well. And then just kind of boop, touch it. I'll have a little dot there, locate it, and then drill a hole, and then we'll be dialed in. It's like we might have had some creepy crawlers living inside of there. Is that a creepy crawler? Oh. All right, we'll figure it out. This bike definitely needs some work though. Looks like we have some type of permit sticker here in the travel range of the forks. It looks like I could be mistaken, but I mean, I don't know. That's 3 fingers. I mean, 3 inches of travel, maybe. I don't know. Usually, forks not, unless the spring's taking a sag, but looks fairly close. We're going to go ahead and remove the sticker because it's kind of in that range, but just kind of another irregularity to point out. Looks like the handlebar clamps are good. Steering stem nuts look tight. Didn't notice any irregular play in that as well. All looks factory, like nobody's messed with that at least. But we're making way. So let's go ahead and tighten this up. Let's go ahead and set the chain too. So if I'm not mistaken, let's see what happens once I actually lower the bike. I think we're all dialed in and ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and set the chain here with the weight of the bike. Make sure I get this nice and tight. Bike fall off the lift. All right, looking good. Okay, obviously a little too loosey goosey. Let's see, it looks like a 12 and a something, maybe 12 and a 10. I don't know, or 12 and a 14. 12 and a 14. So what's our spec? I thought we had a sticker here. Chain slack about 25 to 35 millimeters, about 1.0 to 1.4 inches. So that's probably like 3 or so right now. Let's go ahead and tighten this up, see where we're at. And that was with the axle all the way forward. And I already pre-checked this basically, so it should be starting to get pretty close right there. We're gonna set it just a little on the tighter side. Just so you kind of get a little bit of extra longevity, because usually the chain kind of stretches once it breaks in. So let's see, we're about 2 marks right there. Let's go ahead and do that on the same side. Okay. Moving that other side, definitely tightened it up. Let's see, where's my ruler? Get to it. All these millions of little tools. another tool right here. I should Steelers thing still. Okay. So what is that? We'll go about the center of the link. I can't read here. That's about 3/16. 3 3/16. This way. Do it this way. Okay, so yeah. About 3 3/16 to about 2 3/4. So it's like it's a little over. It's like 1 1/8 of an inch almost. So I could probably just tighten up just a little more. Just a little bloop. That way it kind of keeps the chain on the tight side. That looks pretty nice and solid to me. Kind of parallaxing the chain adjuster, that half moon cutout right there, kind of where it lands. You know, eyeball perfection. It's probably about close enough. Okay, double check our chain. It's about 1 inch of slack, not too tight, not too loose. Has a little bit of distance between the tire and the chain for deflection. So that should be fine. Give it, first 1,000 miles, and it'll probably stretch to about 1.5 inches, give or take on how the customer drives, and it'll more than likely need to be brought back. But we can go ahead and do one more check. It's kind of hard to see, but we're at about, what is that? It's like 1 3/4. It's like 3 3 1/4. Yeah, so like one solid inch. 1 1/4. Wait, 1 3/4. Oh no, if we're 1 3/4, then we still got like, it's like maybe 1/4 16. So actually, we could go just maybe just a little bit more. We still got about maybe like 1/4 of an inch. So we'll take that. Okay. One 124, so about 1 3/4 to about 3 inch. I'm gonna say that should be fine. Just another little. Of course, you kind of want to check double. Usually on new chain sprockets, on good ones, you don't have to, but on used ones, definitely want to double check in multiple places because usually the chain stretches irregularly. So right there, about 1 3/4 to about 3. Actually, it's just under. It's like a little bit closer to the 2 now. So yeah, it's probably just a little like 1 1/8, maybe 1 1/16. just enough. It's perfect for this type of bike and the type of geometry the swing arm. So there's where our marks are going to sit. Just a little. It's kind of hard to tell with the camera. Really don't move that much, but basically how this is should have plenty of adjustments left. Usually a good chain, when you take care of them, lasts about 10 to 12,000 miles. So we'll go ahead. Let's kind of snug that. Okay. Go ahead and load up this rear tire. That way the adjusters are tight and pulled in. Looks like maybe a 27, 30 millimeter. So we're going to hit it with 98 newton meters, or about 72 foot-pounds. And one other thing I just remembered too before I forget about, why is it telling me inch pounds? 100 inch pounds, what would I do? 72 foot-pounds an hour. Not angle mode. 89 millimeters. Gotta be careful. Hit a button. Sometimes you're hitting the wrong torque. Let's see here what I want to do. That looks like a 19. I don't know. It's probably like a 21. Oh, son of a bitch. I lied. It's actually a 20. Thanks, I keep calling that. I believe it's a 22. I don't think it's 24. Okay. So let's have that hole right there facing the 12 o'clock position. Okay. Very nice. Yeah, this swing arm's been, you can tell, like, see where how it's already pulled back, and we haven't even hit torque yet. Actually, I don't think we're gonna hit torque. I'm pretty sure it's been over torqued at some point. It's very common on these style of swing arms here. You'll just keep fucking tightening it. Yep, and that's kind of what I noticed initially when I was working on it. I noticed that on a lot of these bikes, like the castle nut will be, kind of doesn't line up. That makes sense. And we've probably got pretty close, but if you look this nut right and or this washer, like it's been over torqued at some point. It's kind of flattened out, so it's just kind of how it is. It's probably been everything's been squished a little bit, about that much there. If I keep tightening it, it's just not gonna be good. So we'll go ahead and just kind of leave that how it is, throw a cotter pin in it. Essentially, it's going to hold load and it'll be just fine. All right, make sure we got tire spin. Let's see. Yeah, it feels fine. Yep. Chain slack doesn't look too tight nor too loose. Very nice. All right, cool. Double check it. Very nice. I like that. Okay. All right, go ahead and tighten that one up. Elzana, yeah, this is a Kawasaki Ninja 650R. New white pretty soon. Okay, cool. So I need a cotter pin for it. Pretty sure this should work. It's not going to be quite the best, just because usually it fit in there just perfect. Kind of almost put it like that. Usually Kawasaki likes their cotter pins in that position, but we can't do that technically. I'd have to like, I don't know if I have, I don't think I got washers that big, and we're not going to do that. Just I already know why, but what we can do, just put it like that. Bloop, put it inside. Basically, it's not going to go ahead and come off. Go ahead and put it in that position. Right there, it's a clean day throttle body. We're doing the whole thing on this thing right here. We're no, I don't think we actually cleaned the throttle body. Throttle body was pretty clean. We cleaned the air box, new chain sprockets, tires, rear tire, balanced it, cleaned some stuff, got a new battery, a new stock exhaust system, new header gaskets. I'm gonna rebuild the front forks, replacing the front tire, balance on that, bleed the front and rear brake system. This air box has been cleaned, nicely cleaned. Got a new air filter panel to go inside in it. I got new spark plugs. Be throwing some spark plugs, and throttle bodies are actually they were pretty clean. They weren't too bad. So we're gonna go ahead and leave those the way they are, save the customer some money. Then we got some new grips with a new throttle tube because the last throttle tube was broken, and pretty much lube the cables, and that should be it. We should hopefully have this thing pretty much finished up here, with the exception of the forks. That does take like 2.5, 3.5 hours for me typically do a good job. But yeah, let's go ahead and get you know what? Do this. There you go, Tits McGee. So in theory, say it doesn't hold torque, should be good to go. It's not the way Kawasaki does their cotter pins, but this is how I like to do it, and this is that's the best way to do it. Kawasaki, sometimes Polaris does it the other way. All manufacturers kind of do it their own way. Just depends on the situation and the parts. Okay. Boom. All right. Some oil on here. Let's do this oil.